Shall we go through the lies before we end this? Okay, we shall. They were going fishing, but then they went swimming. And Hunter was dropped off because he had an appointment. But then Hunter went with his girlfriend. Then Dawn's the only one talking, but he wasn't there. But allegedly, he left work at 3:30, according to Jenna, according to a coworker. But he says he just left for lunch. He didn't want to go home because he'd have been all alone there. Then he called them in the drive-thru, which was really between 12:30 and 1 p.m., but he says it was 3:30. Well, how can it be 3:30 and you're just going for lunch if you're just about to get off of work? Well, we don't know. Then the whole planting of the flowers situation, which we initially didn't believe on this channel because it wasn't a mess, and a little kid doing flowers would make a mess. But we let that go, and we said we're not going to attack anybody because, you know, it's not the right thing to do. But if you sit and you look at that whole situation, it doesn't really make sense, because then you have a scream at 4:30. Between 4:30 and 4:42 p.m., there's a scream, and there's a car that goes up the driveway. Maybe, allegedly, we're not really sure. But then Candace says she never heard any screams. She doesn't know anything because she was in the house searching for Summer. Well, how were you in the house searching for Summer if you didn't call Dawn until after 6 p.m.? And then dispatch says that the baby's been missing for 10 minutes. That was at 6:30, so the baby would have been missing since 6:20. I'll even give you 6 o'clock. But 6 o'clock and 5 o'clock or 4:52 or 4:45 or 4:30 are not the same thing. Then you bought a twisted tea, but it was for your mother, who Jose says doesn't drink. But then Allie took a photo of your mother with Jose drinking. So she drinks? She doesn't drink. I don't know if she drinks. Anyway, there was that part. Then Lawson says you have a lawyer, but you say you ain't got no lawyer. Then you tell Ernie that he can't search your property because your lawyer said no. Right? Okay, there's that part. What else? What else? There's so many things. Oh, then everybody was moving to Tennessee. And there was a job transfer. And there was a house, a rent-to-own house, without a contract. Not even a contract, child. It was, you know, one of those rent-to-own houses where you're like, hi, do you have a house to rent? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to transfer my job. And you're like, okay. And then they move down there with all these people and children. And then they get there and they're like, nah, people who were in the house, it just is what it is. You can't live here. So then Jose had to walk. They walked. They didn't call hotels. They walked. And it was so sunny, but also winter when he got there. It was also winter, but sunny in a tank top with burnt shoulders because they walked to so many hotels. And then they couldn't get a hotel. So they unloaded everything. And then Candace and Allie and Grandma and Summer. Summer, who wasn't even completely verbal when she went missing, allegedly, according to Allie, walked up to Jose and shook his hand and introduced herself. And then her mother was very concerned. And she said, do you just go up to strangers? And Summer's like, he looks nice. That happened. So then they had to load the truck back because there was nowhere to live, except they just found that out while standing at the storage. But according to Andrew, they found that out when they hit Tennessee. So now, did you know before you got to Tennessee that you didn't have a house and then you were calling around to all these other houses? Or did you find out when you were at storage and then Jose and Andrew had to walk for miles looking for a hotel and then they were burnt and it was terrible? Which one of those two things happened? I don't really know. The dogs, the ferocious, evil dogs, they almost tore you to pieces. Except, we see those same dogs with heels on the ground. They didn't growl. They didn't bark. They just sat there, looking at them, right? Super ferocious they were. They almost ate Allie's grandmother once. Almost ate her right out the truck. Right out the damn truck. They almost ate her out the truck, y'all. Right? Because they chew through metal now. That's what happens. Cats have been on fire, also fed to dogs. Yes, the cat's gray, but it's also orange. Jose stayed there 6 months, through the winter, also through the summer, but it was hot, in a tank top, also 6 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe not. Grandma wanted to sleep with him. She was excited. She was down, honey, and she had a lot of pills, but she also doesn't do pills, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do any of the bad things. She's a godly woman. She's a very sweet lady. However, she's also mean, and Candace hates her, too, at the same time. That happened. Allie and Jose come up with a scheme to say that he likes chicks with dicks, so that Candace and Grandma would be like, ew, I don't want to sleep with you anymore. Don Wells let Jose live in his house for months, and then one day called and was like, who's that? Candace was like, Allie's boyfriend. And he ran home as fast as he could, doing 90 with a gun in the car and his child. Got there, didn't do shit, stayed with Jose for several days. Days enough where Summer and Dad took a shower together. Jose got her pink princess towel, not just a regular towel, but a pink princess towel, and went to the bathroom door and said, Summer, come out here, half pint. And then he told Dawn and Candace that that was inappropriate. And he didn't like it. He wasn't going for none of that. And Dawn did nothing. Dawn did nothing. He did nothing. He waited days after being told how to run his house, what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and then finally threw a bottle at a washing machine that chipped Jose's tooth. That was also never chipped. But Jose was waiting for his Alaska trip. So he went to South Carolina. Because those are the same places, South Carolina and Alaska. Same, exactly the same place. So then, there was no Alaska. Or there was, we don't really know yet. Allie was the reference for the job, but nobody ever called. Also, Jeffy, a reference, nobody ever called, right? So then, from Alaska, somehow comes a phone and $600 in a box. Nobody knows why. There's a screenshot, just one, of that phone. Nothing else. And then Jeffy threw it in the trash. He doesn't know why. But Jose threw it in the ocean in Alaska, allegedly. For no reason, because he had to throw it away. Because that's what you do. You throw your phone in the ocean. And that's the whole story.